Hi, this is Marv Russolo here, coming from my home office today in beautiful Santa Cruz, California. And what I want to talk about today is I want to talk about today's real estate market. Today's real estate market is the best market ever for investing, especially for investors that don't have any money, that don't have any credit. There's a lot of opportunity out there. You know, all these gurus, all of these books and these tapes, and they got a lot of great information. Most of it's the same with just a little different spin based on the investor. However, the problem is that you read it all, and then there's all these different ideas and all these different paths that you can take, but you're never really sure which path to take, because you take a path and all you have is a little bit of limited information. You go out and you take action and you hit a roadblock, and then you don't know who to ask for help. Well, the nice thing about what I do is I'm going to help the people that I talk with, as far as my clients. I help you to figure out where you're at financially, where you're at credit-wise, and what steps you need to take for investing. And today, for investors, it doesn't matter whether you have money, no money, credit, no credit. There's the lease options out there, which are an amazing way to be able to buy property and not actually own it, but control it. And with the lease options, the subject tos, the land trust, there's a lot of different ways to accomplish the same goal. Some of them protect you more than others. Some of them are easier, some of them are complicated, and some there's more costs involved. But the key is to be able to control real estate. And what's nice as an example about the lease options, depending on the state you're in, the paperwork that you're going to need, there's a lot of things that you want to do. Because one thing that's most important is, number one, is that it's a win-win-win, and number two, that you have an exit strategy for everyone. And the win-win-win means the buyer that you're dealing with that ends up buying the property and the seller that ends up selling the property and you all win. And then also the exit strategy is you want to make sure that every step of the way that you take, that you have an exit strategy, you have a way out for you, for the buyers, for the sellers, so that everybody's taken care of. And we need to make sure that everybody understands the process and they understand the details, because you don't want to run into a problem later where it's a he said, she said, whatever. You want to make sure that you have all that in writing, have it in the contract, and that you do everything the right way, honestly and ethically. But one of the nice things about lease options is there's so many people out there in today's market that want to buy properties that don't qualify. They don't qualify because either they don't have enough money down, because on a lot of properties these days, because there's a lack of types of loans available like there used to be, you could need 20 or 30% down. And then also some people just don't have the credit scores, even though they do pay their bills on time, and they do have money in the bank, they just don't qualify with credit score, or they've had some problems in the past and now they're dealing with it down the road. But there's also the people that own properties. There's so many people out there that own properties that have not been able to sell them. And if you look at the investors out there in the market, they're all looking for the great deals, the deals that you can buy for 50, 60, 70% of the value. But unfortunately, there's very few of those, and there's a lot of multiple offers on properties today. And the only way to buy a property and get a really good deal on it sometimes is doing a short sale, which is you make an offer to the bank, and it can take, I know somebody that took a year to get a short sale done. And then also there's the bank REOs, which are bank-owned properties, and you submit an offer to them, and sometimes that takes quite a while as well. But the nice thing about what I do with the lease options is if somebody owes $200,000 on their house and it's only worth $150 or $175, I'm not too concerned about that, because if I put somebody on a 5-year lease with the option to buy, I'm pretty confident that that property is going to have plenty of equity by the time 5 years gets here. So what I can do is if you follow with me here, let's say right now the house is worth $150,000, and let's say I'll give you an easier number. Let's say somebody has a property that is worth $125,000. They owe $150,000. Okay, and I get somebody that would love to buy a house. So what I do is I do a contract with the seller, and the seller who wants to sell their property, what I do is I go into contract with them saying I'll buy their property for $150,000. I'll make their monthly payment, their taxes, and their insurance, which is a total of $1,000 a month. And what I'll do is I'll do it for 5 years. At the end of 5 years, I'll refinance it in my own name, and I'll buy it for the $150,000 that they owe. And what's nice is during that 5-year period, they get the tax write-offs, for the property. So, it'll be a benefit for them, benefit for me. Everybody wins. So, and then what I'll do is once I go into contract with them, I'll already have a buyer lined up. So what I'll do is I'll sell the property to the buyer for $200,000, okay, and I only owe $150,000. So what'll happen is 5 years from now, I want to make sure I help them to qualify so they have the right credit and stuff. So 5 years from now, their property is going to be worth, obviously more than that. So I'll be able to make $50,000 at the end because I'm controlling the property for that period of time. 90% of the people that buy properties don't end up qualifying. So, or they don't end up following through. Okay, so if for some reason they don't follow through with buying it, because I want to try to make sure they qualify, I have the last right of refusal in the contract. So I'm controlling the contract of the property for the period of time that it's in the lease option. Now also, if my payment's $1,000 a month, I rent it out to the buyer to be for $2,000, or those numbers could differentiate. So if it's $2,000, that would mean I'm making $1,000 a month passive income from that property. And then there's the option money up front, which means if they're going to lease the property, just like with a rental, they have to pay their the first payment and the rent. Okay, deposit. So they pay the rent, they pay the deposit, and then if they want to be able to purchase the property, which most people do, what it does is they give you option money, and then option money is from 2% to 5% of the property's purchase price. Okay, so you just have to feel it out depending on the person and how much money they have and what their goals are. So if you have a $200,000 property and you get 5% option money up front, that means you're getting $10,000 in your pocket up front. You're getting $1,000 a month positive cash flow, and you're making $50,000 at the end. So you get to control the property. You make money immediately, make money every month, and make money in the future. What better way to be able to invest in real estate without any money out of your pocket or without any credit, to be able to limit your risk? The key to success is to own nothing and control everything. And that's just an amazing thing to be able to do in today's market. So if you want to know more about it, you can give me a call directly at 408-390-8422. That's 408-390-8422. And you should see my number and my email address on the screen as well. So thanks for tuning in today, and I'll be having more next week on some different techniques that are available. So thank you very much. Once again, this is Marv Rusolo. My phone number is 408-390-8422. Have a great day. Bye-bye.